It's a shachar at chatzos. So Rabbanan hold that you have until chatzos to say shacharis. Yehuda says adal shoyes. You have up until the 4th hour of the day, which is approximately 10 o'clock. We'll see in the Gemara, is that including the 4th hour, or is it just the up to the 4th hour? Tefillah, so we'll explain exactly the hours also soon. Tefillah mincha ara erev. Mincha is until erev. It's a little bit undefined. Rashi says erev is ad chashecha. Pashtus, it means when it gets dark. It means teisa kochavim, when the stars come out. That is mincha. Rav Yehuda says no, at plaga mincha. Plaga mincha, again, we'll define it directly. That's already, that's before, that's close to the end of the day, but that's already what's called halfway through the time of mincha, which is before shkia. Tefillah ha'erev in the keva, Marev is no set time. V'shal musafim kol hayoyim Yehuda homer ad zayin shoyes. Even the musaf is not all day; it's only until the 7th hour of the day. We learned the Daf Testament Beis, Rabbi say, that Tefillas HaShachar is supposed to be together at nights. You daven one is day, and you're also this way you're able to say Kriya Shema right before Tefillah. By the way, obviously everybody knows Tefillah always means Shemona Esrei. That's what we say Tefillah. Yeah. So mitzvos yimanei tzacham yeshis v'chud Tefillah v'yinsu mispala b'yoyim. So my answers Kitanya hi levasikin. Again, the more has to steer it. The more in this brisa, it seems to be Zman Tefillah should be ready only up until Netzachama. So why does it say here that Chatchila, no, it's the Shachar, it's till Chatzos, no Choyes? It's a contradiction. My answer is, no. There are people that we said are mechabe mitzvahs to do things, to do the mitzvahs right away. So their mitzvah is to do daven shachris kivasikin. In fact, another question. 1 second. So you're telling me over here the mitzvah's tefillah is according to Rabbanan is ad chatzos. Is that it? V'amar Rav Meri pray the Rav Yirmi barabba Amar Rav Yechanan Toyav v'lo yispal arvis. So we're asking a question in the Gemara now that v'amar Rav Meri barabba pray Rav Yirmi barabba Amar Rav Yechanan. So it says Toyav v'lo yispal arvis misal shachris shtayim. Okay, you miss Marv daven shacharis. Now, this is really what we're interested in our sugya right now. Shacharis. If you did daven shacharis, mispal mincha shtayim. So daven mincha twice. So you see over here that the zman of shacharis goes long after chatzos. It's ready by mincha. You can also get your shacharis. So the Gemara answers, Kuli Yoyim, the answer is as follows. The rule is like this. Kuli Yoyim Matzliva Ozel at Chatzos. No. Kuli Yoyim Matzliva Ozel. You see from here that you can daven all day. The difference is as follows. Ad Chatzos Yom is Tefillah B'Zmana. If you have, the Mishnah is telling me the Zman of Tefillah B'Zmana is the Chatzos. Mikan ve'elach after chatzos, again chatzos according to Rabbanan, according to Rabbi Dal's choice. Mikan ve'elach schar tefillah yoivle, schar tefillah bizmana lo yoivle. You've missed out tefillah bizman. It's really tashlumin. Yiboylo. What about a different child? What about toyav v'lo yispala mincha? What happens by mincha? Person miss mincha was oines miss mincha. Maush yispala arvis twice. Can you do 2 marvs? Well, imtim saleimer. If you miss marv, daven shachris twice. That's maybe because it's chad yoyma. Keep in mind, the The day is a in halacha in the Torah is a continuation. Yom Echad. Maybe here we'll say you miss mincha over zman. It's already the next day. It's already the next day. Batul korbanoi. Well, came to tzlusa rachmi. On the other hand, ultimately the point, tefillah is asking for mercy. So you can also do that. It's also, time is less important. Maybe you can do that later, even though it's a different day. Yes, in fact, you can. It's not quite the same as korban. It's tefillah can be done, even though it's like we do made a korban, can be done again in the next possible time, even though it's another day. Makes a way. Pasuk says that mu'uvas lo yuchol yiskoin v'chazil yuchol nemonis. What is there's certain things which are right, a distortion that you can't rectify. I'm missing something. You can't count it anymore. You lost it. What is that? That's missing Kriya Shabbos, Kriya Shachris. Tefillah Shabbos and Tefillah Shachris, or Chisar. Okay, so Shemana b'Chaveru Dvar Mitzvah don't need anymore. That's if you could have been part of a mitzvah and you weren't. But what's the point over here? You see that tefillah missing a tefillah there's no rectification. You cannot rectify it. So how can you say tashlumin? So here we have a very important halachic distinction that if you intentionally, you said, you know what, I don't have koach, I'm not davening shachris. If you did that, then you're out. If your stomach wasn't well, you didn't feel well, your eyes, or you were doing a mitzvah or something, you're very busy, you did it, and you missed shachris, you missed a mincha, whatever, shoygeg, then the Chazal allow you to do a makeup, to do a tashlumin, and you can make daven your tefillah afterwards. When is it a muvas? When you're bottle, when you are mavatal, when you ignore it. Shema mina, it's dafka bottle, not shaykik. Zok Gemara weiter on base. Tana abonin. Talia, v'lo yispal mincha be'erev Shabbos. Okay, now this gets a little more sticky here. What happens when the mistake is Erev Shabbos? So that means when am I supposed to daven Marav now? Shabbos. Now, Shabbos we have a different davening. So what do you do? So the answer is simple. Yes, Mispalabel El Shabbos Shtayim. The tefillah of Shabbos is 2. And therefore, the Tashlumin will be done through the tefillahs of Shabbos. Yeah, you say double Shemona Esrei in Shabbos twice. Shabbos Shemona Esrei. Similarly, Shabbos. What about on Shabbos you miss mincha? Now you have to daven Motzei Shabbos. Motzei Shabbos Shtayim. Now here we're going to see. Now it gets a little. Pay attention. It's a little more complex because we have to know. We have to designate. We're going to see. I'm going to give one introduction here. We see there's a rule that whenever you do tashlumin, first you have to daven the correct tefillah of that time. Once you've done that, you can then have an ability to create a tashlumin, a makeup tefillah for the tefillah you missed. So therefore, it's very important how you do the marav. So again, if you missed on Shabbos, Mispal Motzei Shabbos Time Shel Chol. What do you do? How do you do that? You have to say Havdalah, right? You say Natochoyin Das, Yatochantanu. So how do you do that? Ma'avdol b'Rishayna. The first one is Yechol, so make sure you say Yatochantanu Nechol. Now, and Dafka don't do the Tashlumin. Tashlumin doesn't require saying Havdalah. But if you didn't even do the B'Shniyah, you did the opposite way, so now you have a problem. That means you designated the first one as Tashlumin and the second one is Chol, so you can't do that. Tashlumin won't work that way. So really, your Tashlumin is out. Now the Shniyah also, the Shniyah, there's no reason why it can't be your Motzei Shabbos. You said it with Tachantana, you said it with Havdalah, it's a Mariah of Motzei Shabbos. But also, Rishon also, the first does not work. So the Gemara says, 1 second, that's a strange assumption. That means to say, in other words, if it was an absolute requirement to say Havdalah in your Shemona Esrei, I hear, that means if you're not Mavdil, it's commanded, it's like not davening. In Madrila, you have to repeat it, I hear. But, we'll prove this in a second, but if it's not true, it's really essentially a good tefillah, even without Havdalah. So really, you did do Chol, and he did a second tefillah. So what's the problem? What's going on? We don't understand. It's very hard to understand this halacha. Ramino, we're going to prove that point is true. That person missed v'shivarach, b'tchias hamesim, v'she'elo missed v'sein talmud tovracha, v'brachos hashanim. Machzirah, so you have to repeat. Havdalah b'chein das. But Havdalah atachantano, no. Because you could say it on a. You can anyway. You should need to say Havdalah on a kais. So you can still make it up. So you don't repeat it. Missing that Shemona Esrei does not need to be repeated. So then you daven that Shemona Esrei without the Chendas, and then you daven that with. So why isn't that called two Shemona Esreis? That should work. Kasha. It's very hard to understand why it doesn't work. Itmar, the tefillas the Avos, Avos Mitzvah Yaakov, they established the tefillas. That's one opinion. I'm sure when Levi disagrees, says no. Tefillas Keneged Tminim Tiknam. The tefillas were instituted by the Anshe Knesset Gdoila, based on replacing the korbanos. And we're going to see, it's a big machlekes, Tanik was the B'Yisrael B'Chanina, Tanik was the B'Shum Levi. Tanik was the B'Chanina, Avon Tikkun Tefillah Shachris. Shenemar v'yashkim al-maboikin el-amokim v'she-oman. What is the mashmos of this word? Amida el-tefillah. You see that Avram davens. V'yamad pinchas v'yifalo. We see standing is davening. V'yifalo follows tefillah. Lashon tefillah. Tikkun v'yifalo. Yitzchak. Tikkun tefillah mincha. Shenemar v'yitzchak asuch b'sodel lifnei zerev. V'in sicha is also an expression of tefillah. Shenemar tefillah anikiyatu v'nei Hashem yishpoich sicha. Yaakov, Tikkun tefillas avish, and then v'yifka b'mokim v'yolin sham v'yin pgia el tefillah shema'ata al tispal ba'ad ha'om hazeh al tispal ba'ad rina v'tiva tifka bi. So you see that the avos, clearly the psukim indicate the avos are the ones who established tefillah. V'tanya kav also deb Yeshua ben Levi nema omer tefillah shachris at chatzos. Why do we say tefillah shachris at chatzos? Sharei Tomid Shachar was covered like a. Why do we choose that Zman? Because that's exactly the Zman of the Tefillah Shachris, of the Tomid Shachris. And that's why he argues and says only up till 4 hours. Sharei Tomid Shachris covered Holachad Arba Shoyis. Same thing. Tomid Shal Ben Aboim. This Tomid of the afternoon is covered Holachad Erev. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Ad Plaga Mincha. Shaitam Shal Ben Abayim is covered. He's only up to Plana Mincha. Bnei Malam Tefillas Erev in the Keva Sheivorim Ubdorim Shelo Nisachlu. The insides of the animal that you have to bring on the Mizbeach is craving v'hoyichem kol halayla. So therefore Mariv is all night. Bnei Amram Musafin Shal Kol Yoyim Shekorban Shal Musafin Kol Yoyim. And Rabbi Yehuda disagrees. This is not Sheva Shoyis. Shekorban Musaf Kol V'holachat Sheva Shoyis. Okay, now we're going to just explain this price. One more detail of how mincha works. Eza mincha gdoila. What's mincha gdoila? We're going to see there's 2 times of mincha. The first time of the tamid and the later time. Mincha gdoila is sheishay shomechza. Mala. That's the earliest you could possibly bring the korban tamid. Ve'eza mincha tana. What is mincha tana? Sheishay shomechza olamala. That's the time when a tamid was normally actually brought in 9.5 hours in the day. So those is one mincha. Iboy lehu. Rabbi Yehuda, when he says plag mincha kama kamar, or plag mincha achurayna kamar. Now plag mincha means you take the teisha for chetzi shos and you divide the rest of the day. And there's 2 parts. We'll explain a little more tomorrow. So what did he mean? Toshmani v'roim plag mincha achurayna amru, which is yud alav shoyis chasur ravia. It's 11 hours. It's really 10 hours 45 minutes. 11 hours minus 50 minutes, a quarter of an hour into the day. That's the zman of plag mincha. We'll see that's the beginning of Plag Mincha. Then we'll see. Name it. But anyways, the point is, you clearly see in this brisa that all the dinim of the tefillas are all based on the korbanos. So it would seem logical that the korbanos, the tefillas were from the korbanos. Name it Yufta B'Yisrael B'Chanina that says it's the avos. No, it's not really a contradiction. Lo'olam em l'chot tefillas avos tiknum. Who started the tefillas? Who instituted them? The tefillas, it's the avos. Vasmechila Rabbanan. Okay, the Rabbanan came along and they said, okay, these tefillas are great tefillas. Let's find the exact time, the right place. How the way to do them. We'll use the concept of karbonis, and we'll base them on the rule, somewhat on the avoid of karbonis. Because anyways, we're missing musaf. We don't find any. We find three tefillas. Where does musaf come in? It must be that Anshe Knesset are basing it on some type of korban. The tefillas avos tiknan, and the truth is avos we're metakin. Vasmechinu rabbanan akabanos.